Okay, we have UMass up on the podium. UMass advances to the semifinal. That will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. That game will air on the CBS Sports Network. We have head coach Tori Verdi. We have senior guard Sydney Taylor. We have junior guard Bernaya Mayo. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach. Then we'll open it up to questions for the student athletes. We'll dismiss them. We'll keep Coach and have questions for him. So, Coach, if you want to start with an opening statement.
Wasn't the prettiest of games that we played, but you got to give George Mason credit. I thought that they came out with a sense of urgency and want to, and did a great job of doubling the post and rebounding the basketball. And we will learn from this and carry on. But I'm really proud of my players. I thought we responded in the second period, so we took their best punch. We responded and were able to carry the lead into halftime, not by very much, but we did. And then again, just coming out, battling back in the second half. I thought Bernaya Mayo did a great job for us, just being consistent in the first half. And then I thought Destiny Philoxy did a nice job of, getting downhill. I believe she scored all 9 of her points, hit a big 3 in front of our bench, gave us momentum there. We did a little bit better job of executing, and then Sid got going a little bit as well. So, we're gonna enjoy this quickly and flip the script and get ready for tomorrow. But I'm super proud of our players and our team.
We do have a microphone, so if you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll get the microphone over to you. Please give your name and affiliation before asking your question. We'll start in second row.
Mike Rougeau, Massachusetts Daily Collegian. Sid, couple questions. How does your eye feel? And coming into this game, what was the healing process just kind of like for you, just to make sure you were available for this game?
It's not the best right now, but I'm working through it. Took a couple of days off to try to get the swelling down a little bit. Been icing it kind of nonstop, but I'm not one to make excuses, so I just gotta fight through it and play.
Okay, we'll stay here in the front row. Go ahead.
Josh Schreiber, WMUA. Bernaya, what was it like to play in front of, you did it last year, but in front of a huge fan base out there for you, being loud?
It's honestly a great feeling just to know, obviously I'm in my hometown, so people still caring to come show up. Even for Stephanie, I know she brought the whole Conrad Middle School, so honestly, it's feel like we got the home court advantage, so it's a great feeling.
We'll stay here in the front row.
Jacob Munch, WMUA Sports. Sydney, early on your shot wasn't exactly falling, but you were really crashing the boards hard. How important is it for you to stay engaged and get those rebounds?
Yeah, it's really important. I know they have 2 very big physical posts in their team that were, grabbing a lot of boards, so I had to get down there and help out our post players. And then just doing stuff when my shot isn't falling. I know my teammates, keep encouraging me to shoot regardless if my shot is going or not. But yeah, just doing what I do and helping our team to win.
We'll go in the second row here on the end.
Anna Beavis, Daily Hampshire Gazette, for Sid and Bernaya. Was it difficult for you to play in a gym that's so loud, difficult to communicate and keep in touch with everybody on the floor?
At times, yeah, it can be very loud, but I feel like we kind of prep for this going into this game. We obviously know we're in my hometown, so a lot of people are going to show up. So just understanding, everybody call out the plays, everybody repeat it, and we'll be good.
Stay in the second row here on the end.
Johnny Deppin, Daily Collegian. Bernaya, for you, can you walk me through that play when you stole the inbound pass that led to Sid's contested 3?
I honestly don't know. Just being aware of the ball, knowing they would try to inbound it quick and try to run. So me, obviously, just lingering around, hiding a little bit, and get my hand on the ball. Then seeing Sid, obviously knowing that's her shot, passing, and she knocks it down.
Yep, second row, and then we'll come back in front. Go ahead.
Lulu Casson, Daily Collegian. Going off of that, in a game where sort of the bigger basketball things weren't really going your way, was it a point of emphasis to focus on little things like that, like stealing off an inbounds pass, or Sid, that 3 that you hit, you kind of recognized that they were maybe crashing Sam in the post, so they wouldn't initially guard your first insert pass?
Let's start with Sydney.
Not necessarily, but we find what's open. Me and Sam saw each other. She saw my defender wasn't really stepping up. I kind of looked at her, just caught it, turned around, and fired it. So just doing what we do. And I know Fatty, that's just her. It wasn't really a plan, but she's gonna get those type of steals, and that's what we need.
And Bernaya, you want to answer that question too?
Yeah, Coach Lynn been telling me all game just to make plays, and I feel like that was my chance to just make a play, obviously, and that's what I did.
I think here in the front. Yep.
After the bit of a slow first quarter. To end the second half, you guys got a defensive stop and then the bucket right at the buzzer to give you the 1-point lead. How big was that momentum-wise heading into the locker room?
That was huge for us. We had a slow start in the beginning. So just to get a couple of buckets going in and get one going in before the half, that gave us momentum going into the third and fourth.
Over here on this second row.
Natalie Heverin with the Next. What lessons can you take from this game, and what can you change going into tomorrow's matchup in less than 24 hours?
Let's start with Bernaya on that one, then we'll go to Sydney.
That we're going to get everybody's best, and we obviously need to come together and play UMass basketball and rebound and get stops.
I would say the same thing, just dialing in on the little things like rebounding and defense.
Here in the front row.
To both of you, Zach Weiss, Atlantic10.com. When Destiny came back in that third quarter, Coach mentioned the spark that she provided. Just how did you feel her presence on the court, and how did that help you guys push forward?
Start with Sydney this time.
That's just Destiny. She's always going to come with energy and effort. She was helping me throughout the whole game. I was struggling a little bit with my eye. But that's just her, and that's what she does, and we need her for that, so we really need her to stay in that game.
Yeah, I feel like that's just Destiny, and having her on the court with me obviously is always good for me because she holds me accountable, and she's guiding me through a lot of things, and we're talking to each other and we feed off each other really well.
We'll take one more question for the student athletes last here in the second row.
For either of you, did you expect sort of George Mason's play style coming into today, that they would be trying to crash the boards hard and really focusing on defense?
Start with Bernaya.
It's just understanding that we're going to get everybody's best and it's tournament time, so what we did in the regular season obviously doesn't matter anymore. And if you want to win the game, you obviously got to, play all 40 minutes and have toughness.
I kind of knew they were coming like that. They have two, like I said earlier, they have two very physical posts. So that's just something we have to, work on and finding bodies, especially me, defensively and rebounding.
Okay, we'll excuse the student athletes at this time. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. At this time, we'll take questions for Coach Verdi. Once again, just raise your hand. We'll get the microphone over to you. Start here in the second row, on the end of the row.
So, Coach, it seems like in the fourth quarter, that's when the offense really started clicking. From your perspective, how are the last 10 minutes different than the first 30?
Well, one, we started to get stops. And I think that when you look at it, we changed what we're doing defensively, went zone. I think that was a really good momentum shifter of the game. We did not do a great job of containing dribble penetration here today. So I think that gave us a little momentum. And then we were able to get some offense off of that. They did turn the ball over a couple times. We also got some rebounds and were able to push an attack offensively there. So I think that kind of changed. And then I thought we started to execute a little bit better. They got into some foul trouble early on. We did a better job of attacking downhill. And then, not only were we attacking downhill, but we were getting to the free throw line.
We'll go to the end of the row, and then we'll come in front here.
With a tournament like this where you're potentially playing 3 games in 3 days, you usually run a shorter bench typically. Do you expect to go a little bit deeper since you're going to be playing so much basketball in such a short time?
When you're playing for a championship, and I'm not really, focused on, that right now. We need to win the game that we're playing, and so I'm not, going to look and, at minutes played and thinking about what's next. If I was thinking about what's next, we're probably on the bus headed home, right now. So we're going to do everything that we can. Obviously, you'd like to utilize our bench a little bit more, no question about it. But at this point in time, we're going to do everything possible here, especially each and every single day that we're here, to win basketball games.
Go here in the front row, yep.
Coach, with Sydney's eye injury, 1, did you expect her to play? And 2, can you speak to how she played through the discomfort?
Yeah, I thought she was great. Again, she took a hit in our last game, and she's been off and, just getting through that adversity. But for her to come back and, I thought she had a really good practice the last 2 days, and it's not easy to come, back from something like that. But, she's tough, and I think getting this game underneath her belt right now will help her for future games, and that being tomorrow. So I expect her to, be a little bit more confident here moving forward.
Stay in the front row.
In the first quarter, Sonia Smith had 12 points for Mason, and then the rest of the game had just 9. What adjustments did you guys make defensively to kind of limit her scoring later on as the game went?
Well, I'm not sure if we, made many adjustments there. I think I was pretty adamant about communicating, that we needed to do a better job of containing her dribble penetration. She was comfortable and she was weaving in and out of the paint and doing whatever she wanted to do. And we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job individually playing individual, defense. And we can't just assume that we're just going to allow our help to bail us out. We got to stay. If we get beat off the dribble, we got to stay attached to them. And then we got to do a better job of recovering. I just thought that, we're lackadaisical at times defensively. And, I thought she played really well. She played really well, and they rebounded the basketball, obviously, really well. And their offensive rebounds led to second chance opportunity points, which gave them confidence and, kept them in the game. And, we know that, and we got to do a better job. Like I said, it wasn't perfect here today, but we were still mentally tough enough to figure out a way to win the basketball game.
Okay, we'll go across the way on the second row.
Natalie Hebron with the next. Same question I asked the players. What lessons did you learn from the game today, and how can you make those adjustments to play in less than 24 hours?
No, I think that we utilized our zone. Was really pleased with that. I thought we did a nice job of rotating within it. It changed the momentum of the game. And so I was glad that we prepared to utilize that at some point in time, and just going to throw it out there to see if it would stick. And I think what we take from this is, if you want to win a championship, you got to play defense and get a rebound. Otherwise you're not going to win. And so we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job of that moving forward, and we will. We have all year long. For whatever reason, we did not match their physicality throughout the game. Now, at times we did, no question about it. But you can't allow a team to get confidence. And George Mason did a nice job coming off a win. They already played here. They had a little momentum. They're excited to play. And we did a nice job of finishing the game.
Take one more question for Coach, if there is one, here in the front row.
Coach, how does it feel to be able to win by 13 even when the physicality and the rebounding wasn't in your team's favor?
Yeah, like I said, whether it's 13 or 1, I'm just happy that we got the W and we're moving on. And, you're not going to always play perfect. The ball always isn't going to go in. But a sign of a great team is they figure out ways to win, and you got to do it, and you could still win games when you're not shooting a high percentage, from the field. And, we weather the storm, and that's what great teams do. And I think that, our journey this year, you look at our schedule and everywhere we played, there was a reason why we played Tennessee at Tennessee. There's a reason why we went all the way out to Arizona State, to play them in Missouri. And Drake, we did that to prepare us for this day. We did that to, put us in a position to face adversity and then figure out a way to respond. And I thought we did a great job of that here today.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Coach. We'll see you tomorrow. We have George Mason up on the podium. We have head coach Vanessa Blair-Lewis. We have senior guard Sonia Smith. We have graduate guard Janiyah Ephraim. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll open it up to questions for the student athletes. Once we're done with them, we'll dismiss them. We'll keep Coach here for questions. So, Coach, if you want to start with a statement.
I couldn't be more proud of my team tonight. Their fight, their resilience, their believing big that they deserve to be on the stage with undoubtedly the number one team in our conference. Hats off to UMass. They are number one for a reason. But I definitely thought that our girls were ready for this game. They competed like they wanted to win. And just, the number one team does things when you make mistakes, and for us to give up the 23 points off of some of our turnovers is what good teams do. And I just think that part was hard for us to recover, as well as some of the shooting droughts that we had during the fourth quarter stretch. But I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for the future of this program.
We'll take questions for Sonia and Janiyah at this time. Once again, just raise your hand. We'll get the microphone to you. Give your name and affiliation before asking your question. We'll start here in front with Natalie.
Natalie Heverin with the Next. For both of you, what lessons did you learn about the team, not only in this game, but this season as a whole?
Let's start with Sonia, and then we'll go to Janiyah.
Lessons, I would say, through everything, the season's going to be a roller coaster regardless. You're going to have good games, you're going to have bad. But through everything, the energy has to stay constant. The energy has to stay high. I think we play our worst when we give into how bad we might be playing at the time. Our energy goes down with that when it can't. When we're down, we have to stay up. We have to bring ourselves out of that hole. So I just feel like a lesson is that we have to stay positive, stay motivated, stay playing like we are up, stay playing like we are winning, we are the better team, and not like we're making mistakes, not playing like our mistakes.
I love what Sonia just said. When we know that we're the better team, our confidence is through the roof, and our coaches preach that to us. You got to be confident. We played like it. I think UMass knew that we was there tonight. And for our season, I'm glad that I got to end my career here at George Mason. I see nothing but greatness for George Mason in the future. I think we're heading in the right direction, and that just came from all the adversity that we battled throughout this year. We lost some games that we thought we should have won, that we knew we could have won, and we just built off of it. So I'm proud of how we ended the season. The future is bright, like I said.
Come over here to the other side. We'll start in the second row, and then we'll go to the front row.
Hannah Beavis, Daily Hampshire Gazette. For both of you, with UMass being the number one seed, what was the team's game plan coming in to try and contain some of their offensive firepower?
Let's start with Janiyah on that one, and then we'll go to Sonia.
Offense, we knew that they have two of the best scorers in the A10, so that's the confidence part as well. Putting our best defenders on them and just understanding that they're human just like us. They lace their shoes the same way that we do. Just keep the pressure on them. Just make it a tough night for them. When we played against them, we knew that we could be in the game, but we just started out flat. So this game we came out punching. They punched, we punched. And as far as Green and Taylor, hats off to them. But our plan was just to be physical. We knew that the referees weren't calling as many fouls, and it's going to be a physical game. But that was just the game plan.
Regarding that, we know we had to play a back-to-back player of the year. Somebody who's also averaging 16 right next to her, Cindy Taylor, and then they have two great guards, 23 and 3, but they, Cindy Taylor, Sam Breen, and Bernaya Mayo, they all had 20 on this last game, and we kept them 15 and under this game. So it's like we capitalized. We knew what we had to do to scout them. We shut them down, but we just had to capitalize on that. We just had to score, but that was pretty much it. We had to key in on the people who kind of killed us last game, so we did better.
Stay here in the front row, though.
Jacob Munch, WMUA Sports. Coach talked yesterday post-game about the importance of getting out to a fast start. How important was it for you two, in terms of momentum, having such a good first quarter?
Let's start with Sonia this time.
Very important. When we scout teams, you always have to look at the last game. So if any of you know, we came out, had 4 points in the first quarter. We just know we couldn't do that again at all.
Five. Showed us the point.
Look,
it was 4?
Oh, never mind. Okay, take it
But
back. Wow. Yeah, so we just knew we could not repeat that again. I mean, as long as we score more than them, just like the one behind you said, we had to lock in defensively. We could score 5, they have to score 3, they have to score 4. But you know, we struggled with scoring this year. It's been up and down. Sometimes we scored great, sometimes we didn't. So we had to just key in on defense. We had to make sure if we didn't score, they don't score. So that's where our strong start came from. We were getting stops, so then we could go score. We had the opportunity to go in transition, push. We've been keying in on transition, so that helped.
Yeah.
We have, question over here. Oh, sorry. Janiyah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's important. Ever since we lost to UMass, the 4 points, if you look back at all our games, we never struggled again in the first quarter. And it's like something after that game just clicked within us that we can't keep having these slow starts. And I think a lot of teams in the A-10 know, like, they can't really keep up with us. So we found out our strong suit, and we just ran with it. So
We'll do one final question for the student athletes here in the front row.
Having seen the team from your first game against Maryland, how do you think your defense has grown and developed over the course of the season?
I think it's grown tremendously. Like I always tell, I'm very defensive minded, as you all may know. I think that's one thing that I just wanted to leave with this team. Just have the confidence. As I said previously, they put on the shoes the same way that we do. It has to be very personal when we guard them. So from the first game against Maryland to now, I feel like we just all take it personal, like not getting beat off the dribble, understanding that we do scout for a reason, taking away their strong suits, not letting them be successful is a game of basketball, you know? You gotta scout them the same way that they scout us. So.
And Sonia?
I'm gonna refer to what I just said when I know that our team struggles with scoring. I feel like we kind of learned ourselves throughout the season. It's like we have to lock in on defense because we know teams average 70 and stuff. That wasn't us this year. We definitely could be. We know we could be better, but we have to key in on our strengths. So we just had to lock in. Basketball, whoever scores more wins. So we got to lock in on stops. If we don't score, they don't score. So I just feel like that discipline, that want to stop the other team, because if they score and we don't, they're going to win. I feel like it was just all mental. We just had to lock in more every single game.
Okay. Thanks to Sonia and Janiyah. You guys are excused and go back to the locker room.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time.
See ya.
We'll start with questions for Coach Blair Lewis. Once again, just raise your hand. We'll get the microphone to you. Start in the front row with Natalie.
Natalie Heverin with the next. What lessons did you learn about the team this season, especially in a more successful season than Mason has seen in several years?
I just learned a lot about the resiliency of this team. Like Coach, the players said, that we had a lot of ups and downs this season, just finding who we are. We added 6 new players to this roster, so we just had to find our time to find out what each player could bring to the program, what their strengths were, where their weaknesses were. And so we kind of grew together over the summer, and going into non-conference, we learned a little bit more about ourselves. But I think when we got to conference play, we started to settle in and lost some tough ones we probably shouldn't have lost, but I think those were the ones and the times that we were able to grow from.
Over here on the other side, second row.
Michael Rougeau, Massachusetts. Michael Rougeau, Massachusetts State Collegian. Just Coach Verdi mentioned your ability to out-rebound, just out-hustle, outwork the number 1 seed today. What does that say just about this program moving forward and your ability to play with any team, not only in this conference, but any team in general?
Yeah, the coaches talked in the locker room, the tent, actually, after the game, about just how proud we are and how bright the future is for this program, that we can play with anyone. Like when we got our seating, you should have kind of heard the conversation in the locker room. No one would have wanted to be on the number 1 team side. Our girls did. They were like, this is what we want, because we wanted to try to make amends for every team that we lost to, starting with LaSalle, and then make our way up to hopefully getting a chance to beat the number 1 team, UMass, because they came in and they really took it to us at our home, and then wherever the chips would have fallen after this game. So for them to want this challenge, like they wanted to be on this side of the bracket. So the future is bright. Like, we return a lot of these players, and so we're excited. And we told them in the locker room, next season's already started.
Here in the front row, yep.
Jacob Munch, WMUA Sports. Coach, Sonia went off for, it was either 12 or 14 points in the first quarter. What do you think allowed her to be so successful scoring the basketball?
I think she's always had that in her. I think her confidence tonight and her confidence in her team, she just knew that, you know, she had to show up and do her part. And she did more than that tonight. You know, I think she was able to gain a lot of respect from not just herself, but from her colleagues. And I think that her confidence just really grew through the ceiling. And so to have another year in this conference coming from another conference, you know, she kind of had to find her way this year, you know, just kind of on the job training. But now that she's been through the conference, I think these last couple of games for her has just her becoming very comfortable and confident within herself.
In the second row behind you.
Hannah Beavis, Daily Hampshire Gazette. For 33 minutes of this game, this was very much it could have been anybody's game. And we've talked about defense in the past, the players talked about that, but what specifically were you most pleased with that your team was able to do to keep this a very close game through most of the contest?
Well, I think you touched on it. Defense is our bread and butter. That's just what I've been known for all of my years as coaching. But it had to show up in this year, especially tonight, because we haven't been a team that has had a lot of offensive prowess. We don't typically have players that can score 20 points, 2 or 3 of them, so we have to defend. And to be able to hold them, you know, this is a team that we played tonight that scores in the 70s and 80s. And so to be in the 40s, we were in like the third, almost beginning of the fourth quarter, we were doing the job that we know that we could do defensively. And like I said, except for a few breakdowns here and there defensively, a number one team's going to take advantage of it, and they did that. But I was very proud of their defensive effort.
I think we can bring the microphone back across front row to Natalie.
What lessons do you hope that your team takes with you, either into the beginning of their next step, their next journey, their next career, or into next season?
I really hope that they see what we see in them, that they'll be confident, and that I think that they definitely know that they're biting at the bit for next season to start. They're excited for that. So I'm looking forward to our postseason and our summer together and building and continue to grow this program. And for them to also, like along the way, you know, getting to where you want to get to, you have to enjoy the roses along the way. And last year we sat up here as a team that barely won 10 games. And for us this season to have the first win of season in program, last 5 years of this program, shows tremendous growth. So we're going to enjoy this. There might be tears here because we lose some of our seniors, but this team is poised to come back and do a lot of great things. We're excited about this next step.
We'll take one more question if there is one. Okay, we'll come up front here.
You mentioned that there are some seniors who won't be with the program next year. Can you just speak to how important they've been throughout the growth of the program while you've been at George Mason?
Yeah, well, some of the seniors were here when we took the job, and so they knew the dark days of this program, where when I took the job the year before, they didn't win a game in the conference. And so they've known that, you know, that shroud of just darkness in the program. And then we brought some players in with us, so they've been able to help us grow to where we are right now. So I think the seniors, and as we discussed in the tent, was, you know, you always want to leave a place better than you found it, and they did that. So there is a lot of happiness even through the tears, because they've done something special, you know, that we may not have been able to do if they had not come this way.
Okay, thanks, Coach. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.